Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today on the show we are having a part 2 due to public demand on tips on how to manage your personal finances. What are you looking for in order for you to have personal finances, stable ones with no debts, with no tarnishing your name, but also very disciplined and smart ones, smart moves, smart goals, everything good. Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone. I have a guest with me who is Zipporah Njoroge, who was with us yesterday and taught us more on personal finances. Today, she's here with us again to give us more insight, more so on debt management. Are you in a debt? Do you have someone who is in a debt and is struggling so much to come over the debt issues? Send in your question and interact with us. I will allow her to introduce more and tell us a little more about herself. Welcome.
All right. Thank you, Eunice. And thank you, GBS viewers. My name is Zipporah Njoroge, as Eunice has put it, and I'm a certified credit professional. And today we will be talking more now on the debt part, where I major as a debt management professional. I work actually for credit and debt management services, a company that offer consultancies in areas of credit, in areas of financial management, and also teaching. I'm a director of studies at Tumaini Institute of Management Studies, where we also major in a course called CCP and also other CASNEP courses. And we are located at Coffee Plaza. And if you are interested in knowing more about debt, learning on how to manage credit, you are welcome to Tumaini Institute of Management Studies to study CCP. Thank you.
Welcome, Madam Zipporah.
Yes.
It's a privilege to have you once more on this set.
Yes.
Just to recap on a few things as we dive into the topic of today. So yesterday when we are having our conversation on the tips on how to manage your personal finances,
Yes.
we looked on issues to do with saving with a purpose, because most of us, when we looked and interacted with few people here and there, we realized that we save just for the sake of saving.
Sure.
And also you mentioned that when you are saving, we don't save after we have used and spent,
Yes.
but rather should be the first deduction. It's as if you're paying a loan somewhere. You know, those are the few things. And you said, save me today, I'll save you tomorrow.
Sure.
That was the punchline for me. Yeah?
Yes.
Now, today as we're talking about debts, because yesterday we highlighted on the same, and you say there are good debts and bad debts.
Sure.
So to start with, what is a debt? What is a credit? Actually, when you're going to a bank, you're also being told to have a credit card. What is a credit card? What does it do? And what is the thin line between a debt and a credit card, if there is?
All right. Wow. Thank you. Indeed, yesterday we looked on a number of things. We looked at investment, we looked at the savings, budgeting, and all that. And I think when we were ending, we said sometimes you may be forced to borrow by circumstances. And now let us now address the issue of debt, as you've just put it very clearly. A credit card, a debt. Actually, a credit card is a loan. Yeah, it's what we call a revolving type of credit. It's revolving because you are given a limit and you're allowed to spend, pay, spend again, pay, spend again. So actually a credit card puts you in a life of a debt, like for forever, until the day you say no, enough is enough. And I think I was one time a victim of a credit card. Fueling, going, having nice time with the card. And then when it comes to paying, I got into a lot of trouble. And when I sat down and reviewed my life, I saw this credit card is not benefiting me in any way. So I just took a pair of scissors, cut the credit card into 4 and threw it in the dustbin. I'm not saying they are not bad. They are good. a credit card actually is good, but you must have a purpose, a good reason why you need to have a credit card. So if you are a traveler, you are a business person, you may need that credit card because maybe you need to shop, you need to pay a ticket or a number of items that maybe for purposes of business. So that now leads us to what is a good credit and what is a bad credit. But in a nutshell, and to begin with, I just want to say this, that a debt is a burden. I wish I would just show a picture of someone carrying a, a burden, carrying a luggage, a heavy load, as in one that is breaking your back. It is that kind of a baggage because it never gives you peace of mind. It never goes out of your mind. And the creditor, the person who has lent to you, ensures that your mind is full of them. That is, he keeps on reminding you. He reminds you that, hi, you owe us money. So I would, in short, without going far, so deeply into debt, I would just say that a debt is a burden. That is it. And also a credit card, because once you use the credit card, you swipe it in various places. What you are doing, you are creating a debt. So you will also pay. So it's still a burden. And I like it when they do this, they're selling and marketing the credit card to us. What they usually tell us is that you will not be charged any interest when you pay within a specified period of time. But they know definitely you will delay in making the payment. And that is where things now become, they become another thing altogether. And you go to an extent, you are tempted now to start withdrawing with a credit card. And you are charged heftily, and it becomes a bad debt, as we have just said. Yeah, so that is mainly on debt. That is a debt.
I think we should have a banker to educate us more because how they promote it, you'd think it's something very good. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, like you said, it's good and bad depending on how you're using it.
Yes.
So moving forward, now, I'm having project ABC, not an emergency.
Yes.
Let's call it, because we defined we have short-term, middle-term, and long-term plans, right?
Yes.
So at what point do you need now to be indebted? Because there is short-term, there is mid-term, there is long-term, and also there is emergency.
Yes.
To what point now do you look at the priorities of the things and the order of priorities and see now this one is pushing me and this one can stay and this one we can dilly-dally and see how God is going to work.
Wow. Thank you. I will push it in form of a question to you. Between school fees and a holiday to Dubai, which is a priority?
School fees, definitely.
School fees is a priority, is it? Yeah. So if your child is at the verge of being told to pack and go back home, I'm sure you'd think of where do I get money, sort the school fees, because that one will not wait. But a holiday can wait, is it? So we also say, like, when you're taking a debt, for example, for school fees, that could be a short-term also debt. We normally talk about short-term loans or short-term because maybe that is an emergency. And an emergency is something that you need to sort out within 12 months. So you can choose to take a facility or a loan that will take care of that need that has come that is an emergency. When you have a sick person in hospital requiring a payment of a bill payment, that is an emergency, right? So I would classify, if you have an emergency, look at how urgent is it, how important it is. Then you can categorize it urgent, important, right? When you're thinking now of those luxuries of life, we have the basic needs, the food, shelter, clothes, education, we can put it in there, medical care, and all that. Yeah? So those are emergencies, right? But maybe allow me for clothing, because this is where also we incur a lot of debts to buy clothes. That one I would maybe exempt. I'm sure you're not going naked. Please don't go and take a loan to purchase or to do a wardrobe makeover on your wardrobe, right? So that is how I would look at those emergencies. For long term also, and you remember those short-term loans are also expensive. So the amount should also not be huge, because if you're taking a bigger debt at a high interest rate, it will cost you a lot, right? When you think of now the midterm, those are maybe projects that you need to complete, or something that you need to do for a period of 1 year to maybe 3 years. So if you're looking at long term, these are projects that are long term in nature. They are 5 years and and above, yeah? So when you're even considering taking a loan, for example, now for a long-term project, you will think of what is the rate of return, how much am I going to make, what is the interest rate that I'm going to be charged, so that you make now that decision of whether this project will give me a return. And I think for Kenyans, for example, we have this issue of you take a loan to buy a plot, and you take a loan that is so expensive to buy a plot, and that plot, for it to appreciate, will take several years before it appreciates in terms of value. So that one now, it ties you a lot, because if you take a loan to purchase that item, the loan that is expensive and demanding, it will of course definitely be a bigger burden for you. So as you are looking at what should I take a loan for, please consider what is the interest rate that I'm being charged, what are the other charges that are involved, what are the costs involved, that is the interest. There is what they call the processing fee, remember that? If they are charging an asset, they will tell you, of course, you have to pay the likes of the stamp duties. There are so many costs are involved when you are considering taking a debt. So it's good to sit. And when you want to borrow first, I usually say, if you want to borrow to do something, go back home. Sit over it, think about it, write it down, why you want it, why it is a must. But when you just make a decision without having a time to think over it, you'll make a hasty decision that will also now become a bigger burden on you. Yes.
Well said. When you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, people don't think,
yes,
especially when you want to take a loan.
Yes.
When you say you should go back home and reflect, especially in those, when you're getting, if you're getting 1,000, kuna deduction fees,
yes,
how many percent,
yes,
kuna hizo zenye unasema the levies. By the time even the 1,000 is getting to you, it's like around 700, 800. And then when you're paying around 800, 1,300. So like, you've paid a whole 500
yes,
that you didn't spend.
Exactly.
Which doesn't make sense
Yes.
at all. So when I'm looking at, those are the things I look at. That I'm processing alone, especially, I want us to look now at these online apps that are coming up, and they're being advertised, they are coming out very loudly.
Yes.
You go to, right now, if you go to your Google app,
yes,
and the Play Store and search, man, the apps that are coming for financials, like they're telling you, are you in a fix? We are here for you. Until you're going, you just your process, your personal information, and they're telling you you can get up to 20,000, 30,000, very fast. No guarantors needed.
Yes.
No, there is this thing that we are called blacklisted. They're not checking on that.
Yes.
And if you're getting 20,000, by the time it's getting to your account is 14,000 or 13,000. So a whole 7,000 has been chewed. And when you're paying around 26K. So when you add up, so what are the logistics, or rather the arithmetics being played behind the scenes that people don't look into? Because you're so much in a hurry kuona hiyo pesa imeingia kwa account yako, but when you're coming to do the math later, that is when you realize hapa nilijikaranga.
Wow, I think when you're making a decision to take a loan, I think it's important to have that knowledge. What will it cost me? Sit down. I think we have so many loan calculators online. Just get a loan calculator, put the money, put the interest rate, the amount, the period that you are being charged, so that you are able now to get the more information on what you're going to be charged. As I mentioned yesterday, the tricky part is that when I want money, I want it now, and I will not question. We never question. We question at the point where we have made so many payments, so much we have paid, is when you are sitting back and asking, how much was this thing going for? I have been paying and it's not coming to an end, right? And at that point is before you take the loan. That is where you need to sit down. That is where you need to do the maths, the calculation. But I know some needs come and you're thinking, if I don't do it, it's the end of me. Yeah, and the problem also is that because you have borrowed so many places, now you want to do what? You want to ease your way out so that you can even sort those who are chasing after you. Actually, if you look at you, we borrow Peter to pay Paul. Yes, so we borrow Paul to pay Peter. So we are always in that race of I'm borrowing to pay. So, but my advice would be, before you take that loan, it's made easy to take. Why is it so easy? Why, if I want to take a loan from the bank will take me through a thorough process we call what we call assessment, credit risk assessment. They will assess me for risk. But these apps are into business, so they charge you expensively because they know you are going there because already that there is a catch there, and you have put a word. You've said that they will not bother with your credit CRB report. They will not check your CRB status. They'll give you. So they know by you going to them, you're already a risk. You're already a person who cannot borrow elsewhere. So what do? They charge you expensively, and you're ready to take it because after all, you don't have any other option. So it's at the point when you're paying, they will cover. And you know, the other thing, how they reason when they are lending to you through those apps, they know that quite a number of us are not going to pay. So they will make sure the loan Eunice has taken will meet their costs for the principal. They'll recover the principal. And you will also, a portion of your repayment will also take care of another defaulter who will not totally pay, because also we are not good in paying our debts as Kenyans. So they know. So they know if 50% of these people we have lent to are going to pay, then 50% pay the loan, our money will be, at par, and a bit of cost will have been, recovered from the few who are going to pay. So that is how they reason it out. So, and I told you yesterday, these are people who are in business. They're in business. So their business is to make money. So they will make sure that it is so expensive, and because at the point when you need money, your brain is not functioning properly, so you will not question anything. So they know that is where the catch is. So my word, maybe that is our viewers today, I'll tell you, please, before you take a loan, go and look for a loan calculator and see how much you're being charged. And if you're taking a loan maybe for a whole year, just look. I know we are also tied up to those apps. You borrow, you pay, you take another loan. Actually, I hear people say, send me some money so I sort out the issue I have so that I can take another loan. If you just sit back and reflect how much money you have been, paying as interest for monies that did not really help you or get you out of the trouble that you are in. So that is what I would say. Why they're charging you expensively? Because they know 70%, 50%, they will not pay the loan. What do Kenyans do? They throw away the SIM card. Is it?
But right now, in as much as they throw away the SIM card,
yes,
the personal information.
Yes.
And the people you put, there's places where you put next of kin, like a guarantor, their phone number. Then if I put Zippy as a guarantor, I'm a next of kin. Zippy is the one who is going to be called if I turn off my phone. Now there goes the back and forth of conversation in terms of abusing each other, so forth and so on. Now, as you move on, there's another thing that always burdens me. Right now, in our Kenyan system, rather so to speak, we have introduced something we say lipa pole pole.
Yes.
Wow. This thing is draining. It also comes in part of debt. From where I'm seated, I put it that way.
Yes.
So I want this phone. I take it on a credit. I pay this amount and be paying slowly compared to me going buying it on cash. So a lot of people have come out talking even to our TV stations saying that the calculation they were given is not what they're actually paying. So what is hidden in these clauses?
Yes.
Because personally, I went ahead, and also because of people complaining so much, I consulted a lawyer and told me, well, we have to see their terms and conditions and see if they have hidden anything in those clauses. And well, yes, they have, and they are so right in telling you you have to pay it in full. But here you are, you doing your math, you're seeing, if I pay, I don't have to like pay it for a year. Based on the amount they have told me, I think I only have 6 months. But 6 months comes to an end. You still have a debt to pay.
Yes.
And then it figures a time that system doesn't show you are going down. Ama, it figures a point your phone gets spoiled.
Yes.
It figures, there's a time, there's a certain company that was being flagged that when you finish paying your phone or your motorbike or your car, those things get stolen. So what is the, I don't know how to put it. I even don't have the actual word to be able to frame it.
Yes.
What is the, is it logic? Is it science? Is it, I don't know what to put it behind it so that it's so captivating for me to want this thing that you're putting in pay pole pole. But when it comes now to actualizing and going maybe to the system to see how much I've paid and what I'm remaining, and you're saying, wait, I've been paying for 6 months and I've not even paid half of what I've been paying. How do you now come to understand, and what question should you ask at that given point? I want us first to take a break, and when you come back now, you take us through that process so that our viewer back at home can be able now to learn, because actually is very trending. Even the supermarkets have introduced it. I didn't know, but at least for the supermarket, you don't take the commodity home until you're finished paying. That's the difference. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am about debt and credit management in terms of what is good, what is bad, what is the emergency, what is the need. Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome to Fun.
Fun.
Fun. And the hyenas were there. They wanted to snatch the baby and tear that baby into pieces and eat.
Today, we're going to make a cactus in a pot. Hey, you, cold on. Are you biting your thumb at me?
I love my mommy. I love my mommy. Yes, I do.
Are you going to show love to your friend? I'm sure you are going to do that. Friends, until next time, bye!
Water remains to be the world's most precious commodity, but is the most misused. In times of drought, saving water is the only solution to making sure you have it. Don't use the shower when water is scarce. Instead, use the basin while bathing. Repair all leaking taps and pipes. Wash your car only whenever necessary. If not, use a piece of cloth to wipe it clean. Do not use the hose pipe to water your garden. Instead, use the water you clean your vegetable with to water your flowers. Do not release wastewater into rivers. Note that your downstream is someone else's upstream. Of all the waters available on Earth, only 1% is fit for human consumption. Every drop counts.
Hello everyone, I'm so much thankful to have this precious time to actually share with you the Word of God. When I was growing up and when I was attending church, my former church, I was taught that, although I'm saved, but as I, when I commit sin, I become a sinner. And then when I become a sinner, again, I repent my sin every day for it to be forgiven, so that I can be assured of salvation. But when I was living a life of trying to confess my sin each and every day and believing that I'm a sinner, actually I could not have an assurance of my salvation in my heart. So I thought, and I was taught that my sin is, the deeds which I do outwardly. Until the time I came to realize, for sure, I'm a person who cannot really do good. The problem is not the deeds which I'm doing outwardly. The problem is the core. The core of my heart itself is evil. Jesus, what he did, he lived among us. And then he died on the cross because of our sin. And then he rose again. The reason why now he did not just resurrect and go to heaven, it is because of, to meet the disciple and to witness that, sin and death could not have any power in his life. He wanted to manifest that eternal life.
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are looking at practical tips on personal finances, and in that we are looking strictly on debt management. Are you in debt? Do you have someone in debt? What are the challenges? What are the struggles that you've been able to go through or overcome in matters to do with debt management? Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We have Zipporah with us, who is taking us through these tips. So before we went on a break, I'd ask you a question.
Yes.
Please take us through on where we go wrong in this lipa pole pole issue.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much. I think, I don't know whether I would call it a lesser evil or an evil in the society, but I know many Kenyans have gone through hell where you are invited or where you go to visit a shop in town where they're selling the phones. And they tell you, do you know, which phone do you want? I want this one. How much? Oh, 50, it's a lot. How much do you have? I only have 10,000. You can acquire it. Just pay the 10,000 and you start the journey of owning the 50,000 phone that you have. And it's only that Kenyans are not being told that arrangement is what was known or is known in the language of credit, hire purchase. And what is a hire purchase? We usually say this is a contractual agreement with two options of hiring and purchasing. And now this contract allows you it allows you to exit before you purchase. So these elements, they come with two types of costs. They come with the actual cost of purchasing, and also they include the hiring fee on that particular item. And one of the requirements of the law purchase agreement or the law governing hire purchase is that you should be given the buying price. You should also be given the actual price that you will pay during the hire purchase type of agreement. So first, they should tell you how much does it cost cash. It is costing you 15,000. How much money will I pay through this kind of hire purchase? they will now tell you that this is the much you will have paid, and that should be the amount which you should pay for. But those contracts that we are seeing lipa mdogo mdogo in this town, they are not disclosing full information. So they are giving you just part of the information and they're denying you the other part of the information. And I think this one has a legal backing. And actually you are required to be given a contract, a copy of the contract containing all the clauses that are governing that agreement between the hirer and the hiree, right? So what they do, for hire purchase, you are supposed to raise a minimum of 40% towards hire purchase. But if you only raise maybe like just a third of that money, instead of maybe having raised the 40, you only raise 10,000. So there is that amount which is like they are lending you to cover up to 40%, which will be attracting an interest. There will be the cost of hiring, which you are paying maybe per day, per week, per month, depending. And now the price, the amount that you'll be required to pay at the end of the purchase. Now we'll include those other charges that are there. And if you've been told if you pay within 6 months, you will have paid this much. That should be the much that you're paying. So I would advise Kenyans, when you're going to lipa mdogo mdogo kind of contracts, ask for information like how much is the item on cash? How much will I be paying through the hire and purchase process? And that should be it to the very end, unless you have defaulted or you have not kept part of your bargain. If it was 6 months, it's 6 months. So how much exactly?
Let me interrupt you.
Yes, please.
Kidogo.
Yes.
And bring this in as you continue to clarify on the same.
Yes.
You've said you need a contract.
Yes.
But today, as given the example of these different companies that are coming up,
Yes.
we have representatives of agents
Yes.
that are coming now to your doorsteps,
Yes.
to your shops out there. You're not like going to company.
Yes.
Like, look at it from this perspective. I'm the company. So people are not coming to me.
Yes.
So I've hired people to do the marketing
Yes.
and the distribution,
Yes.
so that by the end of the day, they get their shares. But are these people sensitized enough and well informed in matters to do with the nitty-gritties you're talking about, in matters to do with the contracts, the clauses, the pros and cons?
Yes.
Because these are the people who now comes to sweet talk you. Zipporah, we have this. You want a touch screen, a laptop? I got you covered. This is the amount you need. Because there is somewhere I went in town and they were saying, come as you are.
Yes.
You only need your ID. Once the system verifies you, you get a phone. Yani, you walk out of this phone with a 30K phone without paying a shilling and use it for a month without paying anything. Then from next month, start paying.
Hey, heaven on earth.
Why won't you take such a deal?
You will, definitely. Yes. But you brought in a very important aspect of the agents who are not qualified, they are not trained, they have got no idea, they know nothing about that process. Actually, they are paid a commission. So you can imagine if they are being paid a commission for selling that facility to you of taking a phone on credit, be sure there is their commission of around 10%. And who is going to take care of that 10%? It is still you. So they put the cost of the agent who is selling the phone. They also put a cost for the owner of the shop that has allowed that transaction to take place. And now their interest and all that and their costs, admin costs. I think you brought in something that is very ripe now. We are pursuing what we are calling a Credit Act to govern credit professionals in this market through the Institute of Credit Managers Kenya. And that bill has gone several stages. And maybe this is an opportunity to talk to our MPs, our senators, because we have been at the Senate, we've been to Parliament, that it is high time that we protect Kenyans from these, we call them sharks. We protect Kenyans so that Kenyans are being served by professionals who are credit certified and who have knowledge and understanding of contracts that are related to lending. So maybe if you are there and you are listening to us and you are one of our representative in Parliament, please quicken and hasten that bill so that we can protect Kenyans from these lucrative deals kinda looking that are fleecing Kenyans to the core. So for me, I would tell Kenyans, before you get to those arrangements, I think you need a contract. You need to see the contract. Because at the point now you're asking for the contract is at the point where you have already paid and you're feeling the pain, the debt is not reducing. That is when you want to say, can I have the, you should have the contract even before you acquire the phone so that you make an informed decision when you are taking that facility or when you are taking that phone or that laptop. And I want to say this, I have seen those contracts by the way. I've interacted with one of those kind of lenders, and when we were having that interaction, I almost crimped my heart out. And I was like, goodness, 50%, 50, 100%. You are paying, this phone is worth maybe 35,000. I will pay another 70,000 to acquire this phone or even more. And I was like, and are people taking these facilities? And they said, yeah, they are queuing to have those items. My goodness. So I think we have a lot of work to do. And for me as a credit professional, I think I hear the cry of Kenyans. And I think it's making it even worse after you have just paid the whole thing, then the phone disappears. Yes, the motorbike is stolen and you are left back to zero. I think this is an evil that is happening in our country. And I would tell people, I would rather, and that is why I said yesterday, if you have a goal and you want to buy a phone, please start the journey of acquiring your phone by saving mdogo mdogo, not lipa mdogo mdogo, save mdogo mdogo to acquire that item. And also, please let us live within our means. Because some of these things, you can get a smartphone that is costing you even 12,000, even 15. Why go for 30,000 or 40,000 phone and you are not using it to bring an income? If I was using the phone maybe for those people who work online, maybe I am doing drop shipping and I am selling my items online, I need a good phone that will take nice images and all that for business purpose. Fine, well and good. But if it is for just saying hello and, talking to my friends, I mean, Kenyans, we need to get to a level whereby we live within our means and we live within our standard and we take facilities for items that are going to bring income. So after all, after I see you have a nice phone, I mean, how do you benefit? And, and I'm gone and,
It's competition
fulfilling.
Sees.
It's
I have a
competition.
good phone than yours.
Yes, okay. But I can say that. That's why we said yesterday, let us save with a goal. I need a phone by end of the year. I need to upgrade my phone. We go to the platform, the online platform, save. Save your money, save with the circle, then you can now take. In fact, instead of you taking a loan from the lipa mdogo mdogo fellas, get into a circle, start the saving. I would rather you take a loan which you'll be charged only 10% on a reducing balance to acquire your phone. So it is only, we need to be patient with the process, right? We also now need to start the goal. We have to set the goal and start saving towards the goal. So that way you will acquire things and they will give you joy when you have acquired them without borrowing. Let me tell you, the worst thing is when you purchase something on credit, if you start seeing it and it's costing you a lot of money, it doesn't give you joy. And you will keep on complaining and murmuring. It will also lead to sicknesses and diseases. So for Kenyans, I say this with a lot of love. Please, let's live within our means. And also, let us try to set goals and start saving for items or things that we want. Because one of the bad debts, it is when we purchase things, that are not making any value in terms of maybe they're not bringing any return. You are not using them for any business, they're not giving you any returns as far as a business is concerned. I would say this, save towards achieving those. And if you are going to mdogo mdogo, ask for the contract, ask those questions before you get into the bandwagon and you start paying through the nose for acquiring those items.
Very much interesting listening to you breaking it down and mentioning that is a higher purchase. But I have a question.
Yes.
You've bought whatever you've bought, either a car, either a motorbike, whether a phone or something, through this Lipa Mdogo Mdogo.
Yes.
Allow me to put you on a spotlight. What is the essence of me being overcharged as a client
Yes.
for acquiring this phone, and once I've not paid for today's payment, the phone is locked. I cannot access anything. I cannot do anything with it. If it is the motorbike, I'm using this motorbike for biashara.
Yes.
Hiyo bike hata iwezi toka paki. Ati ujailipia inakaa hapo. It's a maua. If it is the vehicle, the same.
Yes.
So kama ulikuwa na client, imekuwa ni kama mafuta imeisha,
Yes.
you cannot move because you've not made the payment.
Yes.
Yani it's, you know.
It's punitive. They're very punitive. I can only say that is very, I don't know how I should put
Between this system, and the difference between this system and KPLC, it's very thin.
Yes.
Because if you've not paid for your token, you
You're
have
in
no
darkness.
life.
Exactly. Yes, it's true. Wow, that is the sad part. And I think when you look at the clauses, they also include in their clauses. And they usually say, if you don't pay even for a day, the phone will be switched off. You can imagine maybe you are left with 1,000, 2,000 towards repayment and still you can't use it. And unfortunately,
It's very frustrating.
Yes.
I want us to take a break.
Yes.
And when we come back, now, help us to understand now, how do you break free
Yes.
from such bondage? Because
Yes.
this is bondage. It's modernized slavery,
Slavery, yes.
for lack of better words.
Sure.
Because you never come out of it. And there are those people who are like so used to this lifestyle that they are very much comfortable. And someone who has not engaged in such a lifestyle look at you and feel very sorry for you and doesn't understand how you even survive. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am. Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
What is always before you but can't be seen?
Kudiscover talent au
Kudiscover ulijuangaje like unaweza imba like
kini Trace Jumi Kipchoge kwa ngoma na mfala wanani dis na wanabonga kwa ngoma mafan jo ananipenda ndo nazidi kwa roga wenye walenjaribu manze walishachoka na niko zabe meditation naendelesha generation niliofanya
wewe at 1 year old ulikuwa unafanya nini? You're feeling the vibe. Ulitoa a few days ago, unaweza taka utuambie like ulikuwa unafikiria nini when you came up with the lyrics?
So I'm doing my thing. Don't try and stop me when I'm doing my thing. I'm tryna boss, let me do my thing. And if you're tryna win, you can be on my team. Yeah, so I'm doing my thing. Don't try and stop me when I'm doing my thing. I'm tryna boss, let me do my thing.
You feel like you're young at heart, I'm an old soul. If you could only listen to one singer or band for the rest of your life, who will you choose?
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are looking on matters to do with personal finance, and under personal finance we are looking at debt management. Send in your question, interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We have Zipporah, who is with us today and helping us to understand more on debt management. So Zipporah, before we went on a break, I'd ask a question
Yes.
that I want you to take us through. What is the meaning or what is the importance of me coming to you as a client? You have introduced to me the hire purchase product. I have bought it because I've seen its conveniencing. I'll be able to manage it. But for one reason or the other, the emergencies that we talked about earlier, I'm not able to pay. Ama, you find that this payment has time. So yesterday I paid at 10. Today at 10, I'm very much engaged.
Yes.
Like I even lost track of time. And now it has come, you've closed. If it is the phone, if it is the motor vehicle, I'm having a client at the back seat. If it is the bike, I'm having a client. And then imefunga tu. It happens hata sina simu ama imeisha moto. Ama hata hiyo simu bado ni ya deni. Umefunga. Now, me coming now to explain to so and so, so nilipie hii ndo inikuamue. Ama hata huyo client, unaanza kumwambia aje, gari imefunga.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, I would say this, my dear Eunice, that debt, as I said, debt can be, it's a form of slavery, modern day slavery. And I think you mentioned that it entangles you. So there are all those factors to consider, because when I'm taking a loan right now, things would be looking up very well, that I will not default. But these guys know at some point you will have to default. And when you default, that is where also they celebrate, because they also now put you a cost, another cost called penalty for not paying on time. There is now another cost we call a penalty. So they surcharge you a penalty on top for delaying in payment. So as you are continuing with the journey, it becomes, it becomes even more expensive, more costly to you. But there is always an option. I will remind Kenyans that there is usually an option. You can go back and say, okay, hello, I want to pay this thing within 3 months, not 6 months. I want to finish it up. You can go to them and they will give you maybe a better rate. But it is also in their interest that you go all the way to 6 months, because they know in between 6 months, they are going to make a kill. They will make more money on you. So maybe I want us to address now the issue on what should I do when I'm in default. Because now the motorbike has been locked. The phone is locked. So basically everything. And it's a sad situation, even in our homes, that when you look at your home, the sofa set you are sitting on is on lipa mdogo mdogo. You've not paid the furniture guy. The bed you're sleeping on is also on credit, is it? I have seen some people have become very creative. They are going around homes, selling cutleries, selling very nice sufurias. They bring to your home the sufurias on credit. The phone, as our presenter here, the phone is also on credit. Basically everything, the dress, the handbag for ladies, they've taken, there's a lady who comes to pick cash in the office who will be coming. So you realize that we are all tied up in debt. So my part would be, what happens? Because I know we are already entangled. We are already in trouble. The motorbike is there. I think the very first thing I usually say is that you need to list all your debts. The very first thing you need to do, lists. And how should you list them? List them with the most expensive. Prioritize. Put, if it is the phone, the mdogo one, the everything, put it there, right? You put up, you list with from the highest, the loans with the highest interests. So that, because that is what is eating up on your money. So start with the most expensive, you list. And then you ask yourself, how much will it cost me to pay up this debt as quickly as possible so that I don't keep on losing more money. Because remember, when you're in debt, the only thing you can do is to start now getting out of debt. But what do we normally do when we find ourselves in debt?
We debt again.
We continue even digging the hole even more deeper and deeper. We start borrowing left, right, and center, so the hole gets even deeper and deeper. So make a list of all your debts and interest rate that you are being charged, so that what will happen is that you sort from the highest to the lowest. Start by paying the most expensive loans. That is important. The other one is make minimum payment on all debts to avoid penalties. As I said, only pa mdogo mdogo there is a penalty. So you make sure that even if you are tired and things are not looking up, make sure that you are paying you are paying at least the minimum. How much can I pay? And it's good to talk to the creditors and tell them that I'm in a fix. Things are not working out as I expected. I had a job, I lost a job. How much, what is the minimum that I can be paying so that I avoid the penalties? They will give you that option if they are good lenders, that is, if they are not backstreet lenders, right? Then we also say establish extra cash available to apply towards debt reduction. Now you can focus. You can even cut on some of your expenditures and focus on now repaying the debts. It will take time, and it is, we say that it is an expensive process, but what to do? You have to do that. Then we also say once the most expensive debt is paid, apply the payment now on the next one that is not most expensive. So you prioritize from the most expensive to the least expensive. And one thing that I would advise you not to do or to do is that never ignore a lender when they call or write a letter. But what do we do? You block the line, is it? Yes, you do not want to talk to them. So what do? They also escalate their processes. Now they start even thinking, now how do we reach out? Though with the Data Protection Act, nobody is supposed to call your phone contacts, right? Actually, you can sue and have all your debts paid, yeah, because the Data Protection Act does not allow you to contact people who have not given you consent. That is, you can contact them in the event that the borrower defaults, right? So maybe that is something that we can talk about later. And then we also say, ask the lender to allow you pay interest first, then you leave the principal. And this works whereby, for example, most lenders, they first want to recover their interest. Now they start now recovering the principal. So you can even ask so that this debt does not continue. Sorry for that. Yeah, so that the debt does not keep on increasing, you can ask first to pay off the interest. The other one is also you can discuss with the lender to extend the loan repayment so that you get off the pressure. Maybe the monies are not enough, you have lost your job, so you can reduce the amount that you are repaying. And then you can do what we normally say, make personal adjustments on your expenditure. That is also very important, that we do adjustments on our expenditure. If you don't do that, you will continue having it rough as far as the loan repayment is concerned. And when you are in debt, please try to live within your means. The problem is we take loan facilities, we take credit facilities, but we still want to live in luxury. You get it. So, and if I want to live in luxury and I owe money, what happens? I will now have to incur more debts. So we say that don't be bullied to pay more than you can afford. If you can, that is why we say do not ignore the calls that you're getting from your lender. Talk to them. They are human beings, by the way. And if you have lost your job, so what do they want you to do? There's no much you can do. So take advantage of talking to them and discussing the way forward and see how you can be helped. But I say this, always consider, when you're taking a loan, is it a good loan or is it a bad loan? For example, a bank will not give you a loan to start a business. And maybe it's also good to talk about that. A loan to start a business is a no for the bank. So if you want to start a business, I usually say this, save or look for, you save to start that business and start small and grow. And if you're in business, and because at one point or another you may require to borrow, I usually advise this, make sure that you have a relationship with also a financial institution. And that's where we say, if you have started a business, open a bank account. And what is the bank account for? The bank account is to, you start now putting money, withdrawing, putting money, withdrawing, that grows your turnover. And the bank is able also to do an assessment and to see that indeed you need financial support. And because they've seen how your business has been growing, they are ready to walk the journey with you of improving your business. So we usually say, if you want a facility to fund your business, take a loan to improve on your business, not to start a business. I hear people say, I wish I would get someone to lend me. I have a nice business idea. By the way, an idea in the head cannot be tested, is it? It can't be tested. So start small. Don't start with a big store. Don't start with so much stock. Start small and grow from that point. But I always say this, please do not kill yourself. Do not commit suicide because you owe people. Life is far much worth. And I also say this, sometimes debts are not just, they're not just kawaida things. Sometimes you also need spiritual intervention, or what you need a divine intervention to get out of debt. So you also need to start a prayer and you start telling God, I want to get out of debt. I want to sort out the mess, because some contentment is given by God. And many we are in debt because we lack contentment. So God gives contentment. Don't go acquiring debts that are making you even sink to a level of depression, to a level of committing suicide. So live a healthy life, take care of your finances, and it shall be well with you.
Your parting shot.
My parting shot today, viewers, if there are those who are listening to us that are in the business of mdogo mdogo, bring those agents to Tumaini Institute of Management Studies to learn about proper credit management, so that we stop fleecing and we stop putting Kenyans into the kind of trouble that they're experiencing. And I also want to say this, you can get out of debt. And as I've just said, don't just seek financial help, also seek divine help so that you can get out of debt. Thank you, our viewers.
Thank you so much, Madam Zipporah, for coming in and giving us this verse of knowledge, and also ideology on how to come out of debt and also be able to manage it. Viewer, I hope you've learned as much as I have. Let's continue this conversation online across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21114. Next time, have a nice time. Goodbye.